because that's what leadership's about. I'm talking to you, General Abazad, and I'm talking to you, Petraeus, and you, Martin Dempsey, and you, Kinzinger, and I don't think I left anybody out except for, oh yes, Donald Rumsfeld. Leadership isn't about taking the best seat at the table, and if you don't believe me, take a look at Smedley, Darlington, Butler. Leadership is about taking the least or the last seat at the table or going without lunch so the men can eat. Am I being sexist? Yes, only because I don't think women should be eating at a table in a combat zone. There's been several problems with that in the last couple of wars. But I have 4 daughters and only 1 son, so you could say that I'm 4 times more respectful of women than I am of men. War is not nice. It's also not to be played by bankers. Bankers don't have their ass in the game. They just have pieces of paper which can be manipulated. For instance, Wells Fargo and HSBC, the 18 biggest banks aren't really losing a whole lot, but we the people in England, in the United States, in Syria, a lot of people are having their asses handed to them by the bankers. Let's do a little turn the table on them, and it goes, give me a C minus or a B flat. I turn the tables on you. You can stick the banknotes up your whatever. Anyway, Craig, thank you very much. That's wonderful news. And I will have some wonderful news for the Arizona twosome. But I did ask, 220. Okay, now this is getting really good. Bucky, Atomic Betty, Agent Bean, and Agent Tillman. If you depart the Minneapolis airport, and I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions that you can slap in a GPS, and I'll pay the override if you want to, or you can bring a GPS, or you can bring a handheld. But it will take you from the time you pull out of the Avis, the National, the Hertz, or whoever lot, it'll take you about 1 hour and 10 minutes to find your way to right here, 401. So you should probably be here by 4 o'clock, 4:15. We can either meet here at the bank or we can meet at Molly's or the Duck Pond. Then we can sort of glad hand each other like saying, Craig, I didn't realize you were this sensitive. Or Gene, have you done something with your hair? You look ravishing. Or Bucky, you used to weigh 245, then you got up to 300, and now you're just a wispy 265. Where is it all gone? We are going to have a good time, and I wish that everybody could come, and that's a wish that will not happen because many of us don't have the discretionary time off, and some of us that could get the time off have things that are more pressing to do. But Craig, that's wonderful news. And David, now the Plum City, actually we're calling it the Plunge to Plum. And because I don't want to appear to be any more of a control freak than you might think I am already, I've handed off many of the decisions to a female from Canada and to a male from Wisconsin who's living in Atlanta. David, did I answer your question? Jack Mack, perfect. I'd asked Jack Mack how many people can sleep in his RV comfortably, and he said 3, and I said perfect, because right now I think the 3 able bodies that are committed to coming, something just fell on the floor. Let me just get it and show you. You're going to like this. This is a Plum City, Wisconsin, I can't pronounce it, 150-year anniversary. And we got a bunch of them. Apparently, we need to get a better vendor because it came right off this. Which reminds me, there is a better vendor coming because one of the 3 men, as in adult male, regardless of our behavior, one of the 3 men coming is McCheese. He's got an RV, and that provides a place for 2 other men. And now that I'm thinking aloud, and this is not a guarantee, but this is something I think will happen. I think it's 4 Dangerettes, maybe a couple more that will fit in a place that's been offered for that period. That place is a rural place with a blacktop driveway, and so we can do one of 2 things. We can try to put the beast either at the rural property where the Dangerettes are staying. Come on in, I'm back here. And when you come in, you're going to be live recorded, but the camera's off. Go ahead. And back to what I was saying to you guys, I think that the Beast can be parked either at the American Legion Pavilion, which would be best place for it. If anybody gets tired while they're in town, they could go to the Beast and sit down or cool off or whatever they want to do. Otherwise, I know that one of the Dangerettes is hoping to have an all-night event Saturday night, and the all-night event would include a bonfire, and so that could be accommodated either at the American Legion Pavilion, which is where the Beast could be parked, and if that's the way we want to go, I'll make sure that I discuss this with everybody who's coming. But because I'm on the American Legion board that's taking care of this, I think I can reserve a spot immediately if we decide that's where we want the Beast. The other two options, the Beast could be at the property where the Dangerettes are going to be inside a house, and that would be good. And what we have to do is we have to have a communication between the den mothers, and the den mother for the Dangerettes is Atomic Betty or Sherlock from Canada, and the den mother for the boys you would think is Jack Mac since it's his Beast, but the committee member is actually Bucky, which is Brian. So between Sherlock, me, and Miriam Hall, we'll sort this out, but sometimes you people can tell when I'm really touched or moved because my manner of speaking changes. I haven't had such a positive development in terms of reality than what I got about 30 minutes ago when Craig Peterson said that he and Gene were coming up. And the thing that seems insignificant even to you, Craig, is the fact that you're getting here in time to comfortably get to Vino in the Valley. That simply will be a dinner that none of us will ever forget, not because of the food, not because of the company, not because of the location, but because of all three of those things. When you mix those three things together, it will be a memorable evening, and nobody needs to buy one of these, and there's not many left, but this, what I have in my hand, is it's a 3-volume set of Plum City history. This one is 1957 to 2007. This one is 1857 to 1957. And this one, you can see it says Pioneer Days in Plum City. I'm not suggesting anyone buy these, and I'm not sure how many copies will be left by that time. These were published in 2007, but I will say this, that for anybody that comes to Plum City, there's going to be some interesting artifacts, either for sale at a modest cost, or some of the stuff's free, and some of the stuff might be gifted to you. And I don't want to create a pandemonium crowd. Of course, two things to keep in mind here. I do not have the power of invitation or exclusion. This is a public event. Anybody that shows up with notice or no notice is very welcome, because Plum City is like America used to be in 1965. Neighbors help neighbors. People work together, and they don't try to take their half out of the middle. Everybody's good at something, and nobody's good at everything, and nobody brags about what they can do. A good example, Craig, not to keep doing this to you, but your collages are out of this world. And that's why Bucky and Gene and I, what we really would like to have been able to accomplish is to get you and Agent A-U-B-R-E-Y, Agent Aubrey, that's a song by Brett. I think we would have, well, I don't think there's anything that the three of us wouldn't have done if we thought we could get you and Agent Aubrey both out of your former location. But the fact that we've got Craig now in the United States is not only good for Craig and good for it's Agent Arizona Sunset and Bengo and myself, but I think it's very, very good for Abel Danger. And if any of you haven't figured this out yet, Abel Danger really doesn't exist except for when 2 or 3 of us meet. And because of who it is that has called us to a joint purpose, and who it is that gives us the information we need, and I can look you right in the eye and tell you there's pretty much only 2 things I've discovered in the 6.5 years that I've been working with David. And I don't take credit for it, and I don't shy away from credit. It's just a fact. And you'll know why it's a fact when I couch it carefully. God has revealed to me that on August 12th of 1944, Colonel Elliott Roosevelt detonated the BQ-8 Liberator that Lieutenant Joseph Kennedy Jr. was flying, because back then the aircraft, even though you could put autopilots on them and you could guide them remotely, there are so many handles on a four-engine aircraft. If it was a jet, it would be easy for a computer to handle it. That's why all these airliners today, the reason you have starvation wages pilots is because you don't need pilots. You heard me correctly. They're called NPR airliners. They're drones, no pilot required. The only reason there's pilots on there because most of you aren't going to get on an airplane that doesn't have a human pilot. Even though if you think about it, all these drone strikes, including the ones done overseas, where we're killing, we as a nation, and I think most of us are pretty upset about that, but we're killing indiscriminately innocent parties in places like Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, maybe Yemen, maybe Egypt, Libya for sure. Oh, Hillary, you should be so proud of yourself, you and Charlie Bouchard. What ignorant humps you both are. Don't you know that God's going to get you for this? He is. It's in Hebrews 10:26-31, where he talks about enemies of God. God doesn't have any natural enemies that he can't defeat. God doesn't have any unnatural enemies that he can't defeat. You guys are in big trouble, and you're greatly in need of an admission of your sins, and get down on your knees and beg him for his mercy. And even though you're totally undeserving of it, he'll give it to you because of his limitless grace and love and compassion. Now, isn't it too bad that people in Chicago can't treat children the same way God treats us adults? Sickening is what you people down there are, and I don't mean all the citizens of Chicago, I mean the ones that run it, whether it was Daily, or Ram the Rammer, or is it Ram the Rammer? Back to the chat room here briefly.